Okay, good morning. This is the November 19th, 2025 Salary and Labor Committee for LaSalle County Board. We'll call the meeting to order and do roll call. Mike McEmery? Here. Kathy Bright?
Here.
James Bailey? Here. Doug Traeger?
Here.
And I'm Steve Aubrey, the chair. No one is on WebEx, so we don't have to worry about remote. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes from the previous meeting? Mike first, James second. All those in favor? Aye. Motion is passed. Okay, first item to be presented is the motion to approve an amendment to the elected officials contract for Sheriff's Department telecommunicators position.
I sent copies of this out to the members of the committee. If anybody else, if you want a copy of it, Doug, you wouldn't have had a copy of this previously, so you're welcome to it. So working with the sheriff's office as well as AFSCME, we've put together a letter of agreement to modify the contract with the elected officials to transfer the dispatchers from 8 hours to 12 hours. Diana had brought that to the board's attention that the 8-hour contract with regard to these specific employees was generating a ton of overtime because they were not able to do the things they want to do for their personal lives, doctor's appointments, stuff like that without taking time off. So you were generating overtime because you have mandatory staffing for that position. So we put together a letter of agreement where they would shift to 12 hours. This doesn't change their pay period. They'd go to 80 hours. They'd stay 80 hours like they currently are. The only thing it changes is how they accrue some of their leave time. But essentially what it does is rework the entire elected officials contract for the purpose of the dispatchers only to transfer them to everything that referred to days previously is now being done through hours. And so we dismantled everything that had to do with 8 hours for these employees themselves and changed it over to 12s with an 8-hour shift rotating through by a system designed by the dispatchers with the agreement of the union. So this is supposed to go into effect at the beginning of the year. We've got it where our proposal would be to go to effect January 5th. And it's my understanding that the union and the sheriff's office are very thrilled with this particular concept. It should give them the ability to use more days off for personal stuff, not take as much overtime, not generate as much overtime bill to the county, and it doesn't change anything with regard to their compensation currently at all, except for how they accrue vacation, and that doesn't change hardly at all either under this concept, other than holidays. So if there's any questions about it, I'd be more than happy to answer whatever I can, or Diana can answer whatever she can, but the union's bought in on this. They've signed off on their approval. I think sounds like the dispatchers are happy with this proposal. So with your approval.
I did notice too that it said that if you don't see the positive effects, it gives you the ability to revert back to the way things are now.
Yeah, and we think we'll use that twofold. We'll evaluate that.
Well, we think we'll probably use that twofold. We'll evaluate that on our end for the impact of what it's doing. Has it made a big difference? And then also, I think we'll get feedback from the dispatchers. Are they happy and satisfied with the way it is? So, yeah, that we wanted that built in there for both Adam's benefit as well as their benefit.
So does anybody have any questions?
Okay.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve the change to the Sheriff's Department telecommunicators contract and forward it to the board? Mike first, James second. All those in favor? Aye. Anyone against? Motion is approved.
I just want to say thank you. I just want to let you know that from November or from October 30th through November 7th, they will have 340 hours of overtime to fill. We had one that's off on a maternity leave. She had a baby the 1st of November, and we have one that's going out on surgery. I mean, if we were on 12s, that would have been half of what they have right now. So they are very, very anxious and very thankful that we were able to get this through. So I appreciate everyone's support on that.
I hope it relieves some of the tension and issues you've had filling this position in the past, so that's great. Thank you. Okay, next on the agenda is motion to approve hazard pay for maintenance department employees.
Same thing with this, I sent out an email, a potential letter of agreement. In this particular case, I brought to your attention this hazard pay issue at the last meeting. It was asked that I put something in writing as far as what the proposal would be. So I've put together a letter of agreement I can hand to anybody who hasn't had a chance to see it. Essentially just dealing with these particular two employees who did work 21 hours apiece in a assignment involving biohazardous substance material cleanup. I brought to your attention that clause in their contract had sunset, but that the maintenance department was hoping to reimburse these two particular employees for this particular assignment. So this would limit it to just those two men for this particular purpose. So it'd be $420 total. 21 hours at $10 an hour for each one of those individuals for that particular job in the detention home. So that, I've got it in writing if you have any other questions about that. I know that as far as form, the union is in agreement with it, but I didn't give it as an actual proposal because I didn't want to get that far without you, this committee signing off on it moving forward, so.
So everybody on the committee got that email, but Doug didn't. So Doug, do
want
you
a
have
copy of
questions?
Yeah, if you don't mind.
Sure.
And this is going forward too? It'll take care of, thank you.
This, like you said, states that it's specific to the two employees for this one occurrence.
Okay,
I have not had a conversation with the new property director or maintenance director as far as whether we want to see another one of these side letters for the purpose of making this a thing for everybody going forward if they do have these, essentially taking the old letter and putting it in again. We've
Yeah.
not had that discussion yet.
Oh,
I
okay.
did not want, Bob wanted to deal with this prior to leaving office, but I did not want to saddle the new person filling that position with an agreement without his buy-in. So I've not addressed that with him yet.
Okay. Well, I would think they would be bringing it up after.
I'm certain that will happen.
Okay, thank you.
So do I have a motion to approve this hazard pay? Kathy first, James second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone against? Motion passes.
Thank you.
All right, next on the agenda is for the nursing home. We're going to go ahead, we've got RN on-call per diem compensation that will be discussed, and also we're going to bring forward from below the replacement and compensation for the nursing home. Will be at the same time.
I'll do a little of the speaking, and then I would ask the board chairman to also chime in with me. For the RN on-call per diem compensation, I have been in conversation with the DON, Carla Hanlon, and we do have, this connects to your second item, but we have an interim administrator for the nursing home. And I would like to ask if we could just move that topic to your December 30th meeting, because yesterday I spoke a little bit more in depth and over the phone with the DON about working on this and gathering more information and providing you with more to understand the RN compensation challenges we have for that facility. and the on-call per diem as well. So we've talked a couple strategies, but we feel like we need to provide you something that we can hand out and discuss more thoroughly with you. We did not have time to do that, so I would ask if we could just move that, if you'd be okay with that going to your December agenda for that particular item.
I think that's good news. I think there needs to be a comprehensive look at everything there, so that's great.
And we will, I think collectively with those people that I just mentioned, we will be able to provide that to you with more detail than just a casual conversation.
Chairman Jensen, do you have anything to add?
Like Melissa said, further conversation. We talked about it, but I think there's more information that needs to be gathered before we have a more comprehensive discussion about it.
Okay, does anyone have any questions about this? All right, that's great. Let's go ahead and move this to the December 30th meeting then.
Okay, thank you. The other item is the nursing home replacement and compensation. So we are right now, we have had a resignation we accepted and completed for the nursing home administrator, Kathy Steins. We now have an interim through a placement service. She started yesterday, and she brings a wealth of experience. So that is a contracted situation. We don't really need to address that, but we are requesting that we talk about the formal process of recruiting a permanent replacement. So our interim will only be interim. She does not do permanent, so she will serve as our interim licensed administrator until we are able to find and secure a permanent replacement. So we would be asking for agreement by this committee to start that process with, we would need to set a salary range in order to post and start doing that, and it will probably take us a little while. That is not something that's easily found, so we may look at a variety of options as far as recruiting resources, not just posting to our website, but if we have to talk about a placement service, we'll see what comes in with the least amount of expense, but if we have to look at other options in order to find the appropriate type of person we need with skill and license, it might take us a little bit longer than just a standard posting. Just so that you're aware.
Will you also be reviewing the job description? to make
We
sure that-
probably, I would foresee that I will talk with the interim. She has over 20 to 30 years of experience as an administrator. I would probably ask her to look at that and see if there's anything that she would suggest be reconsidered in wording. Obviously, it's not our wheelhouse necessarily. I also can ask the DON to kind of give a look at it as well to see if there's anything that does or doesn't seem current at this time.
So you expect by December 30th, you'll be ready to talk about that?
I don't know if we're going to need, if you want to wait until then, I don't know as far as timing, if we want to really start moving about getting a public type of like a posting out there that, unfortunately you're talking for like at least another 5 weeks before we start doing something. I understand, I could, if you wanted to look at something that I give you electronically in the middle of it, I'm totally open to whatever. That will just be another 5 weeks that we're kind of moving it a little bit. But I understand if you want to see everything first.
Chairman?
I think it's critical at this point in time to basically set a salary range so we can get things ready to post and get that ball rolling, because the sooner we find somebody, the less we're going to have to pay for that interim, which is much costlier than our permanent one will be. So I think that's what we should be doing today, is setting that salary range so that we can post that and start gathering applicants, and it'd be nice to find somebody 2 or 3 months down the road. So,
Any comments, Kathy?
Yeah, I agree. Sorry. Yes, I agree with Don. I think we need to decide on a range so that we can start that search immediately, yeah, or as soon as possible.
What was the individual's salary in that position before they left?
It would be on 12/1.
So it's 96 on 12/1. 75 to 95?
I think if, I can do some comparable out there, but I think that it's more realistic that you look around 100. We need to be sourcing someone that will bring, and already be licensed and bring experience with them.
I think
That-
just what I've seen so far, going through some stuff because of issues with the workforce out there, this is not a position currently that you want to bring in somebody with no experience. There's going to be some heavy lifting to try to reorganize in a way that, I'm not trying to slight anybody, but there's going to be some work that needs to be done by the person that comes in. And so I don't know what the range is for a person with experience in this particular field, but it needs to be, whatever the range needs to be, it needs to encompass somebody with experience, I think. It's just a suggestion.
So this person definitely would be somebody from the outside. There's no one within the.
That's correct.
Okay.
The nursing home administrator requires a specific license or a specific qualification, and then the nursing home itself cannot operate without that specifically qualified person, unfortunately. So I'm sure that the field of it's kind of like the conversation we're going to have about the assessor. The same thing is that there are only a few people with that particular skill set.
So maybe 90 to 110?
I think that's I like that better. I
I
feel
mean,
that's a
it's
little bit more, I feel that's,
It's a range, and we don't have to necessarily stick to it. It's just a suggestion. But if we were going to be paying 96, the opportunity is there to maybe save a couple of bucks, or depending on who we get, maybe they're worth a little bit more. And it puts us kind of within that range of what we were going to be paying.
and what did you just say again? Remind me, 90 or 95?
90 to 110.
we can look at that to start out with and see what we might find as far as applicants.
That way
That's
we-
what I was gonna comment too, is we can start with that in a posting, and if we are not collecting interested applicants that meet the qualifications we really need,
Then we can always move
then
the
I
range
think
and
you would
see
need
if
to
we can.
revisit that range again, and perhaps that could,
But
we
that
could
gives
see
us something
we could see a
today.
different group.
That
I
gives
also,
us something, I think, today, and then if we need to adjust that range, if we're not getting the qualified applicants, then we can adjust that range.
correct, and so the Insurance Trust Committee, there's a, person through our third party that has done some advising for the nursing home facility on risk and liability, and I think she will, assist us in the, recruiting and selection process. That's her wheelhouse, is nursing homes for risk and liability. I also then will ask her what her thoughts are about reasonable ranges. I didn't get to that yet before today's meeting, but if she says something that makes me feel like we have to readdress it again, then I definitely will. I can bring it forward to you and let you know that. She might say, you're fine for right now, or you're way too low. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't want to put words into what she'll say, but I think she will be a very good resource for assisting us to find a qualified candidate and give us that kind of feedback. I'll ask her also to look at the job description.
Okay.
I think that'd be a good idea, but I think we need to have it posted here in December so we get some feedback as to if things need to be changed in our meeting later on in December.
Kathy, do you know when the next nursing home committee would be?
Here, I got it. We're meeting at December 11th.
I don't know if that helps, if the job description could come out of that committee. The salary comes out of here, but the job description comes out of there, if that would move things along faster.
What if there is some sort of a quick review of it, and maybe it's not even necessary to change the job description, and then the posting could take place earlier?
Well, I would say we could talk with the interim that we have now, Eliana, and get some feedback from her, and if job description looks good, move with it.
Okay, so
Yeah,
how does
I
the,
can make that happen. I can do that. I can start working on that like immediately. I'll get it to her. for feedback.
you may find that it's open enough where we don't have to make changes. So, committee, what's your feeling on the 90 to 110,000? Everyone good? Okay. Let's go ahead and set that then at the posting range of $90 to $110,000. Do we need a motion for that? Do I have a motion to, James is a first, Kathy a second? All those in favor? Aye. Motion passes.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Doug?
the interim, doesn't that have to go to the full board? I mean, we had to have the assessor's interim go to the full board to be approved. And I think the board needs to know who the person is and how much we're paying her and the expenses that we're paying her and everything else.
I think ultimately, so finance was made aware that there was going to be expenditures for professional services. Because of the fear that a lapse in the nursing home administrator would cause a gap that would put the license at risk, my recommendation was that we act immediately in order to make sure that that doesn't happen, because the last thing anybody wants is to have us run afoul of the state. So I think that more information definitely should be provided, but it was necessary, I think, to act immediately in order to make sure that there was no lapse.
So we were looking into legal liability
That
and
was
why
my
we filled it
concern.
immediately, because there's minimal legal liability with the assessor and a huge legal liability with the nursing home.
Well, and so the supervisor of assessments is a statutorily authorized position, whereas the nursing home is not. So there are differences as far as the way in which a supervisor of assessments is appointed and the way in which there's coverage for them being gone. That doesn't exist with the nursing home director. The nursing home director is at the option of the county. The county doesn't have to have one, but they have to have a chief assessment official, and they can't. And the way in which that gets covered is by statute. So it's a little bit different. But there is a legal liability as far as we've got 65 citizens at the nursing home who potentially could have to be moved if the nursing home's license was yanked because we're not in compliance. So that's why we had to, my recommendation was we act immediately.
And I understand that. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm wholeheartedly approving, but I still think the whole board probably has to.
So the finance committee knows about it, but what's the intention coming up with the full board meeting to bring everybody abreast of the
I
situation?
think that information should be passed on to the full board on the 26th next week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
So can we get that thrown onto the agenda for
Yeah,
next week?
we'll have to add it to the agenda for next week. Yeah. I'm sorry.
I
All right, next on the agenda, I need a motion to go into executive session for 5 ILCS 120/2C for compensation of specific employees and discretionary leaves. Do I have a, first is Mike, second is James. Roll call, Mike? Kathy?
Aye.
Doug?
Aye.
James?
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. Motion passes.
Probably ought to get Amanda, though.